Welcome in, guys. Happy Friday. Only good news about today is that it is December 1st. We can put November behind us and move on into hopefully a good month to close the year. We're running 6 straight winning months, and yesterday was just kind of the epitome of what November was for us. Another 0-2 day. So a little bit, went 2-0 on Wednesday, came right back 0-2. We'll see if we can get going here with some bets on this Friday slate and some football this weekend to start off December, right? John, how we doing? Knicks can't quite get the back door. Thought we had a chance there in the second half. And then Golden State, they decided to have the role players look like the Harlem Globetrotters last night.
Knicks that was a halftime bet. We talked about that game here early, and as I said, thought that was the Sharps laid the shit out of that game from 12 all the way up to 14 and a half. It closed. This is a dominating series. It's what we call an ownership. Knicks had won, 12 straight, 10-2 against the spread. Yep. And you know the story with Detroit, 15 straight losses, 4-11 against the spread. We had a shot with the game tied at half, laying 8.5. I thought that was a spot. Detroit coming on the back-to-back. Cunningham had a great game shooting. Didn't know if he'd continue it. He did. Knicks had their shot. Just when they were up 9, they did hold a possession, but failed to score in the next possession, give it away. This is how November has been a nightmare, especially in the NBA. We'll look to turn around today. Well, we didn't get caught. What we told you yesterday. We finally think one of the primetime games was going to be over, and we saw a shootout there, so we didn't get caught on that total. Just had no bet in that one. Told you again, Dallas, yeah, the better team, but this is the Dolphins of the NFC. Beat up all the weaklings and have a little problem. Nope. And their other problem last night was the look ahead. Guys, scheduling. You have to look at scheduling, not just the game. Before the games after. So scheduling, Dallas now hosts Philadelphia next week. If Philly gets beat this week at home by San Francisco, San Fran is favored. They'll be playing in a battle for first place next week at Dallas. So look ahead. It's a big spot. We'll talk about some look ahead spots today in the NBA, and we got a bet. One of our bets is mainly because of a look ahead. And another one's got a little something to do with the look ahead. So scheduling is very important. So, November's done after 6 straight winning months. And L was due to hang, and we hung it. And now we'll move on to December and get everybody some Christmas money in their pockets.
Nope, let's get that Christmas money. We do have a pretty big college football game going on tonight, John. We can touch on briefly here. Oregon at Washington, Pac-12 championship, 5 versus 3. And number 5, Oregon, 9.5-point favorites. Obviously, we were on them in that first go-around, landed on a push just because they horrible coaching, multiple missed field goals, missed opportunities going for it. I think it was 0 for 3 on 4th down. Just every opportunity you had, you wanted to win that game, cover that game, couldn't do it. Now coming back with revenge on the neutral site. They're laying some big points here for Oregon tonight. And I think it's warranted. I really do think it's warranted. I think Oregon is as almost a guarantee to win this game. Obviously, it's a really big favorite. You have everyone, Vegas, the playoff committee, they're all valuing Oregon as the best one-loss team. It's really tough to beat a good team twice in one season. I'll be shocked if Washington somehow upsets this game tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised by any means if Oregon handles this by double digits, John.
Yep. Look, if you're not in the know and you look at, Washington's one of the top 4 teams in the country, or 5 teams in the country, undefeated. How could they be a dog? Because Oregon's that much better. And we knew that when they played earlier in the year, just as Ben said. Another coaching disaster nightmare, capped off by at the end of the game. Just punt the ball instead of going on 4th, and you give Washington a half a field instead of pinning them. That being said, if you're how to beat the bookie, if you're a Master Edge member, look no further than my college ratings. Again, guys, there's nobody that has ratings the way I do, and you stack them up. Just take a look. I've got let's first understand that this game's getting played in Las Vegas, so it's a neutral field. So this is basically a road game for both teams. I've got Oregon rated at 48 on the road. I've got Washington 39.2. That is a 8.8 difference. I don't know how closer to the number you can get. The number is 9.5. You want to throw a little revenge in there for the earlier loss at Washington.
No.
But that's your number. That's where the number belongs. So it's not a ridiculous number. It's the right number. Look, the line makers, they'll miss here and there. They're not going to miss on these games. Oregon, Washington, national champion, Pac-12 championship at stake. They had so much time to get the numbers right.
No.
The number's right. I mean, the number's right. So, yeah, I think the number's right there. The total to me in this one, I think this is going to be a little tighter played game. When you go to these championship games, maybe a little more conservative. Don't know if they're going to be so many 4th and 5s conversion tries here, or maybe play a little more conservative and punt the ball. So if anything, I would lean a little bit to the under. But again, not enough room to make a bet, and certainly not enough room to pick a winner on this game. Again, 8.8 just straight numbers. Give a little edge to Oregon for the revenge factor. And again, the revenge factor means a couple of things. It not only means one team blowing out another team, but two teams that are equal or similar. Very tough, as Ben said, to take them down twice in the same year. And that's what you got here. Not that Washington's not going to show up for the Pac-12 championship,
Nope.
Just that two guys, let's call it Ali, Frazier, was so close. They fought 3 times. Ali got 2 of them. Frazier got the first one. And then that's just how it's going to go most times. So, yeah, game is right there. 9.5 is my number on the game. I got no dog in that fight.
And, John, we haven't even talked about the college football playoff committee and everything that's been going on
tomorrow, though, isn't it, Ben?
No,
today is Friday. I'm so lost. November's got me in such a fucking dizzy. So yeah, okay. Today is Friday. All right, we're on it now.
Yeah, I haven't even talked to you, John, about the college football playoff at all, how they've been going about it. So just interested to pick your brain a little bit, what you think on this. I mean, obviously everything's going to change based off what happens this weekend. If all these teams in this top, really, it's between 8 teams, going back to Bama being at that 8 spot. Question with you on FSU. Now, if FSU beats Louisville, what do you feel about them still making? A lot of people, want it to be the 4 best teams. It blows my mind that people would want to take out an undefeated team who wins the Power 5 conference. Just because one guy gets hurt, you can't punish the whole team, the coaches, everything, because one guy gets hurt. Look,
first of all, the whole thing is a joke. The NCAA is a joke. And once it goes into next year, I mean, this is simple. So we won't have a Pac-12. There'll be 4 Power 4. Whoever wins the championship in each thing. But this is how these guys, they pay their cronies to be part of these committees, these geniuses that have no clue. Of course, Florida State is one of your top 4 teams if they beat Louisville, like I expect them to beat. If there's one bet that I've got, Florida State this week. Everybody in the world is on Louisville, including Ben. He told me he liked this game as soon as the line came out. Florida State's second quarterback, he got a little banged up in that last game. In the last game with Florida, I just want to make sure he's okay. As long as he's okay with a game under his belt, Louisville just doesn't travel well. They're not a good road team. They've played a little better recently, getting the win at Miami. But again, that win didn't impress me. That was a game I didn't like. I knew Miami was going to be down after the week after a loss to their rival, Florida State. So Florida State, to me, is just a better team. Florida State wins this game. They have to be one of the top. Look, you want to make them the 4th team, that's fine, but they have to be the 4th team. You can't place another team, a 1-loss team, ahead of them. They did everything that was asked, won every game on their schedule. They're an ACC championship, one of the Power 5s, and they belong in the playoff. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, since 99, obviously SEC reigns. They have 14 of the national champions since then. But the next conference up, it's SEC with 5. No other conference with more than 2. So you could make an argument the ACC championship means the second most to the ACC championship as far as on a resume to make the playoffs. So obviously
There's
lot
no
of what
question.
is.
SEC is by far the most powerful. So there's no question about that. But just what do we want? Just have a tournament between SEC teams. If you want to do it the right way, if you really wanted to do it the right way, here where you have 5 Power 5 conferences, probably each one of them gets the bid. If you win your conference or your conference championship game, you get an automatic bid, and then you can pick the 3 wild cards. And what I would have done that whole time would pick one outside of the top out of the Power 5s. In other words, one of the other conference winners out of the top 5. This way, you give a chance to an SMU or back in the day, it was Boise that always had a good team. So give them a little shot. And then you could take in your loser of the SEC championship, your loser of the Big 12. So you can get both the Michigan, Ohio State in there if they're that good that year. But again, next year, you got 4 Power 4 conferences, you'll call them.
And 12 playoff spots next year. So it'll be
I think 12 playoff spots is a joke. I think it's ridiculous. It's just way too far. They were complaining about this, you can't go with more than 4. So then you go from 4 to 12. You want to go from 4 to 8 and have your top 4 winners have home games against the next 4 wild cards. That's one thing. That'd be one way to do it. Again, all of this is nonsense. Like I said, this is ratings and rankings, and you don't need them all year. Your top 4 teams, they win the division, they go in. But this is how you pay your cronies off. Look, it's like the rest of the college nonsense that goes on. Paying professors and tenure. Don't get me started. I don't want to get into politics, but that's a joke just like that is. So anyway, Florida State belongs. If they win, they got to win.
Got to win, yeah.
Got to win without their quarterback. That's an uphill battle to climb. And right now, everybody in the world is on Louisville.
Yeah, we'll say I'd hate to be the committee
Except
if it results in Oregon and Alabama wins this weekend and FSU. If those 3 team wins, I don't know how you pick between Alabama, Oregon, Texas to get that final spot there in the group.
Georgia's got to be out. Look, if Alabama beats Georgia, Georgia's got to be out.
TCU last year, they put them in undefeated regular season, losing the conference championship. They still get it. I mean, if your one loss is, to Bama in the SEC championship, that's better than any other one-loss team, is it not?
I 100%. And if we're talking just the top 4 teams, if we go into the SEC, let's see, whether Florida State would win or not, I don't know. Maybe I've got Texas A&M rated better than Florida State right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Or Ohio State, who's out of the picture now. I mean, they're rated better than Florida State, even if they had their quarterback. So if you're just talking about the top 4 teams, but if your last loss is last week, I just feel you should be knocked out. It should be, again, you get 5 champions here. Okay. It should be the 4th out of the 5. It should be 4 of those 5 champions, and one of those 5 don't make it. Other than that, what good is winning your conference? What does it mean winning your conference?
There's still a route for Ohio State to get. They're going to need Bama to lose, though. They're going to need they're going to need Bama to win. They're going to need Oregon to win. That would kick out Washington, and then there'll be a one-loss team. You could argue Ohio State's schedule, their one loss to Michigan is more impressive than Oregon's. You could argue it with Texas. I don't know. It's gonna be hectic. We'll see. That's a bunch of what ifs based off who wins this weekend. We'll see, man. It could be really easy.
Just by my ratings.
Yeah, by your ratings.
Just strictly ratings. I mean, I've got Michigan and Georgia really right there.
Yep.
But that Michigan defense, I really think it could play with anybody. So I got Michigan and Georgia right there. And then I'm going to put Oregon as the number 3 team and then Bama as 4th. And that's just my ratings off my numbers.
Yep.
And if that's how you're doing it, that's how I've got Oregon as an 8.8 favorite in this game. It's just ratings, and that's how the lines are made. So if you're going to say what team would be favored over who, these would be your top 4 teams, the 4 teams that I just gave you on ratings alone.
Yeah, it goes off a lot of resume, though, obviously. My prediction for the 4 is going to be Georgia, Michigan, Bama, and FSU if FSU wins. And if Bama wins, I think they got to put both Bama and Georgia. It would be ridiculous not to. 2 one-loss teams, respectable losses, each of them. And, I mean, hey, Georgia, if you lose to Bama in the SEC championship, that shouldn't be a punishment. That's it's a respectable loss. We'll see what ends up happening. That's obviously a lot of what is for this weekend. We do have some NBA we can do a deep dive into here, John. We have Wizards and the Magic going at a second game of a 2-game set. I liked watch the other night, and they did not look good the other night. They lose that one by 19. Prior to that, though, Orlando has now won the last 3 meetings. Washington had won the prior 7, starting to become maybe a little bit of transfer of ownership. If they get another one and a win here today, Magic just keep getting it done. 8 straight wins, 8 straight covers, NBA best, 15-3 against the spread. It's really, really tough to go against Orlando. I did it the other night. I'm tempted to again tonight. I just don't know if I can get my money down on this Wizards team, who, as Kyle Kuzma said yesterday, and I'll quote him himself, we can't guard a stop sign. So when you have one of your players thinking like that, then yeah, it's a bit difficult to back them.
I mean, look, he's not stating anything that isn't obvious to everybody else. Poole is a disaster, not a team player, and a guy that's spoken about, Abdijah, he's actually questionable for them tonight. He does a lot for them.
Yep.
Again, scheduling. We talk about scheduling. So Orlando, their next game is tomorrow at Brooklyn. That'll be their last game before the. Just keep in mind, guys, the in-season playoffs start next week on Tuesday. So we've got games tonight, games tomorrow, and that's it before that playoff starts. So last game that the Magic lost, if I'm not mistaken, that was at Brooklyn. No. And then they came on to start this 8-game winning streak. They've just been on fire, the Magic. But here's one of them games, big double-digit number, a 2-game set. It's Wizards plus 11-0, buddy. Got to know I got Abdijah again. Could have the Orlando get that vision on tomorrow's game after just destroying the Wizards. So Wizards are nothing, plus 11. Got to have Abdijah in there. That's, again, it's an injury, and as you guys know, we'll be on top of the injuries.
Then we have this Eastern Conference rivalry, 76ers going up to Boston. Philly coming off that loss at New Orleans. And Embiid, late scratch. He was questionable. That was a winner for us that night. Got to see what's going on with him, obviously. Porzingis going to miss 3rd straight game now for Boston. Celtics team, big win over the Bulls the other night. They're now 8-0, 6-2 against the spread at home, playing great ball there. You have Boston as far as top 5 as far as points allowed. Sixers top 5 as far as points scored. Going to be a very interesting matchup. Obviously, all of this revolves around Joel Embiid. I'm kind of hoping Joel Embiid is in and this number comes back down a little bit. Then I'll be interested in Boston in this game. Still lean there at this price. Just would like for it to come back a bit down, John.
Yeah. Well, obviously, all you need to know about Embiid. Embiid's going to change that lineup about 3 points or so. Late scratch when an illness. So don't know, did he get better? Okay, I didn't know report on him practicing yesterday. Legitimate question today. Porzingis still going to be out for the Celtics. 2 ways to look at this game now. So these teams have met twice this last month, both in Philly. Philly getting the first one. Celtics coming back getting the second one. Again, these teams met last year, second round. Celtics get them in 7 games. They split 4 games in Boston, though, so there's no ownership here. Mm-hmm. Boston is in the in-season tournament. They really wanted it. If you guys saw the last game against the Bulls, they went as far as to hack a Drummond just to run up the score. Tells me they really want to win this play-in this in-season tournament. So do they have an eye on that? That's just one thing we'll be looking at today. So no interest in Boston in this game. Again, as it stands right now. See this line right now. But my line would be 5 with Embiid in. Again, we talk about the line being in the middle. The line's 6.5 right now. This line will go to 8. If Embiid's out, it'll come back down to 5 if he's in. They've got it in the middle because even they're not sure. Again, I don't see an edge there. The only edge is maybe Celtics got a little bit of an eye on this play-in tournament. And, so I've got nothing. But, again, it's all about the injuries and where the line goes.
Then we have Grizzlies going on to Dallas. Grizzlies get the first home win against Utah the other night. Another one of our winners played pretty good in that one. They snapped a 4-game losing skid. They've been a bit better on the road all year, 3-5 straight up against the spread. You have Memphis bottom 3 in scoring, Dallas top 3 in scoring. So we'll see how that goes tonight. You have this Mavs team coming off a nice win there against the Rockets. Luka, huge night, 41, 9-9. We'll see if that carries over into this game. Matchup trends a bit to the under here. We'll see if that's what they get, but a lot of points here for Dallas. And yes, playing good ball, just 3-4 against the spread at home. Not a team that typically covers, especially the big numbers. Has to be a look here to Memphis.
Dallas doesn't cover at home. They just covered their last game with an assist from the ref. Calling a shooting foul with 0.5 seconds on the clock, 2 free throws, gets them to cover over Houston. Mavericks, NBA worst. Let me see. It was 12, 26, and 3 against the spread at home last year. Just don't cover at home. 10 points. Look, Memphis has been horrible. Not as horrible on the road. 3-5 against the spread on the road. Double digits here. Again, we get the same scenario. Dallas, Memphis will come in with a little home revenge earlier in the year. A 125-110 beatdown they gave the Grizzlies in Memphis. So a little home revenge. Dallas has OKC tomorrow. Again, they get up those big numbers. May want to give Irving, Doncic a couple of extra minutes on the bench, just enough to let the Grizzlies get in underneath the double digits. I made a 1-unit bet at Memphis plus 10. Also, you have Tim Hardaway Jr. Questionable. He's their 3rd scorer, by the way.
Then we have Knicks going on to Toronto. Knicks back-to-back beat the Pistons last night to go 3-1, just 1-3 against the spread on the homestand. And then you have this Raptors team coming off a nice win against Phoenix the other night. They're playing pretty good ball right now, 4-4, but 6-2 against the spread. Been pretty good at home, 6-4 straight up against the spread at home this season. And really in the last 5 years in the NBA, if you go back and look at it, Golden State, number 1 in home record, pretty evident. Number 2, though, Toronto Raptors in the last 5 years. So just one of those teams that has that edge that kind of prevails. Pretty good home team. And that's been a problem for the Knicks, John. 12 of the last 13 trips there have ended in an L. So could only look at Toronto here. Spots all them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we told you guys about this yesterday. This was a game already had the circle around. Terrible spot for Knicks. Made even worse by their game last night. Line gets sent out yesterday as a 1.5-point favorite. That they're under the assumption Knicks would just roll over Detroit as they had their prior 12 meetings, as we thought they would also in the second half. Pistons fought them tough. They gave them a game last night. So Knicks now back-to-back. They go north of the border where we told you they have their problems. And look, that north of the border is an edge. It's a different travel than just going Boston to Philly or Brooklyn to or D.C. So go north of the border. Toronto plays well there. Knicks can't win there. They're back-to-back. Oh, and yes, what do they got next? Their next game. Game 1 of the in-season tournament at Milwaukee. Again, another look ahead to that. This was a great spot. I laid Raptors minus 1.5 for 3 units. This is my big bet of the day. I love the Raptors because I think it's just a terrible spot for the Knicks today.
And we'll see how that one treats us when we can get back on track with a couple of those games. Rounding out the car, we have 2 more Spurs at the Pelicans. Spurs back-to-back. They had a big lead early against Atlanta. Couldn't hold on. Played an absolute shootout with them. 137, 135. They shot the ball well. Just couldn't play defense. 13 losses in a row now for San Antonio. So 4-9 against the spread. Not playing good ball right now. And then you have this Pelicans team coming off a nice, easy win against the 76ers without Embiid. Zion had a terrific night, 11 for 12. Initially 11 for 11. NBA went back, looked at the tapes, had a missed shot to him. So it couldn't be perfect. But Pelicans at home, 5-1, 6-0 against the spread their last 6. They've won and covered the last 5 meetings. This is Pelicans or nothing. A little bit banged up in depth, which is my only concern here in laying the Pelicans, Sean.
My only concern laying the Pelicans is the Zion play. He has not played back-to-back yet this year. There's been 3 sets of back-to-backs. He sat out one of the games in each set. They play tomorrow at Chicago. He's going to miss one of the 2. They're not going to play him. Another team, they play in the tournament, but because they play tomorrow, I won't say they've got a look ahead in that spot. But either Zion or C.J. McCollum, who just came back from injury, looked good in his first game back. He's not going to play both games, returning from the injury. So I would expect one or both to possibly sit. I'm thinking this is a much easier game than going to Chicago tomorrow, so you may want to have them sit in this game. Last year, Spurs absolutely dominated Spurs. Pelicans absolutely dominated Spurs, beating them all 4 by a combined 81 points. Again, need to see the Olympic games. That's why I tell you need to look at the schedule. Who they have before, who do they have after. Expect one of the Pelicans to sit tonight, going into tomorrow's game. If I knew they were all in, exactly, this is Pelicans and nobody. Spurs on a back-to-back. Wembanyama, he's going to be questionable today. He was questionable before yesterday's game. This would be Pelicans and nobody at full strength, but I don't expect them to be at full strength. We'll keep an eye on that one, too. That's why we tell you guys become a member at the Master Edge. We're on top of the injuries. At 11:35, almost only so much info that we know.
This last game on the card, good one. Nuggets at the Suns. A little bit of playoff revenge for Phoenix. The home team, 9-1 last 10 meetings, including when the Nuggets beat the Suns in 6 games last year. That one win was the Game 6 and Phoenix that a road team won. They did win both in the regular season. Suns won both in the regular season. Phoenix by double digits. Problem is Booker with that ankle injury, he's going to be doubtful tonight. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. Hopefully it's better for us that he sits tonight. He's going to be good to go for this in-season tournament coming up. We'll see what ends up happening there. Nuggets, they've had a slew of issues and question marks. Murray and Gordon. Gordon's missed several games in a row. What's going on with him? So a lot of question marks on this game. Suns are nobody, even through it all. As long as we got Kevin Durant out there, you got playoff revenge. Denver just not getting it done on the road. 2-8 against the spread on the road, 4-6 straight up. You have Suns coming with playoff revenge. Would be only a look here to the Suns for me, John, even without Booker.
Yeah, Suns are nobody in this spot. But again, it all depends on the injury situation. So you've got more with the scheduling. You've got Denver also playing at Sacramento tomorrow. Now, Jamal Murray just come back the other day. Again, just like C.J. McCollum, he's not going to play in both games. Is he going to play tonight? Is he going to play tomorrow? Aaron Gordon, he's missed the last 3 games. With Sacramento tomorrow, do you hold him out one more day and play him tomorrow if he's even ready tomorrow? Or is he going to miss both games? Now, you'll have Jokic, you'll have Porter, you'll have the rest of the crew for this back-to-back. And then it's up to Phoenix. Will Booker be out there? They called him out. One of the sports writers from Phoenix called him out. Suns are listing him questionable. I've got him doubtful. I don't believe he's playing, especially with Memphis tomorrow and then the in-season tournament starting at the Lakers. So I don't expect Booker to play. They will get Grayson Allen back, missed the last couple of days. They got KD back the last game at Toronto. He was absolutely rusty, shot a terrible, I believe, 36%. He should be more in tune today. So, this is a who's the home team wins series. The home team's won, I believe it's 9 of the last 10. Am I correct,
Yep,
Ben?
9 of the last 10, yep.
Yeah, so you get playoff revenge. You're the home team. Got to be Phoenix or nobody in this one. But again, we'll wait to see who's in the line and what the lineups who's in the lineup and what the line looks like later on.
Yep, and you guys know our members will be updated on that information. If you guys want to be updated as well, sign up on the app or the website, massaedge.com. John, a little bit of a rough November, but let's look and put the blinders on, look straight ahead. We got a great weekend of football coming up. We got a nice NBA slate. We got our in-season tournament coming up. A lot of green to come, and hopefully a very merry December for us.
Yes, we'll get it going. Look, November, this is what sports gambling is, and that's why I get so aggravated. I had a couple of comedians in our Instagram chat yesterday saying how they destroy college basketball. They actually gave out New Orleans last night. New Orleans played Minnesota. That was their best bet. They were on another guy's Instagram show, and New Orleans only lost by 30, I think it was. So it just ain't that easy. Last night, I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. We saw the Chicago Bulls play the Bucks. No DeRozan, no Levine, and beat the Bucks, one of your top teams in the NBA. Chicago playing horrible ball. So anything can happen. And so if you're not beating the line, you're flipping a coin. You're not a pro. That's the point I was trying to get with these two clowns. Again, like I said, I posed the question. You're just so confident. But how come no other sharp guys? The line hasn't moved. For guys that don't think beating the line, you're a square. You're a sucker. You don't know what you're talking about. If you don't beat the line, you can't beat the game. If you bet the closing line of every game over a period of time, a long enough sample size, favorite's going to win 50%, dog's going to win 50%, and you, my friend, are going to lose 10%. You're going to lose the juice. There's only one way to beat this game. It will never change. For you idiots that call me an old man, I am old. But don't confuse age with experience. Over 40 years, there's only one way to get it done. You take all the computer models and all your algorithms, and you can stick them in your ass. If they're not beating the number, if you're beating the number, then great, you can use those. But if you're not beating the number, you could know every player for New Orleans and every player for Minnesota and still lose by 30 points, can't you? So, we pride ourselves on one thing, being a handicapper. Handicappers beat the number. So far, we sent out yesterday Raptors -1.5. That line is sitting at 2. Unless I miss my guess, it will go higher later on. We have a 1-unit bet on the Grizzlies at +10. That game's moved to 9.5. And this is called getting an edge, my friends. And unless you have an edge, you can't beat the bookie.
You guys want to bet with the Massa Edge, you guys know where to sign up. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Obviously not here on the weekend. So if you guys want all this information over the weekend, you guys know where to go. And other than that, please like, subscribe, comment below. Help us blow this thing up a little bit. And let's make some money, John.
Yeah, let's make some money. I think we're going to do a podcast tomorrow, Ben. What do you say?
Yeah, we can get one going
Saturday, not much college going on. With an NBA, it'll be the last day going into. So I think we'll come at you guys tomorrow with a podcast also.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow for an episode for you guys. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow. We'll try to have it up by 1 o'clock Eastern. And best of luck tonight, guys. Let's make some money.
Right. Let's make some money and let's go December.